Welcome to Your Wealthy Self with me, Regina Martinelli. This show is about money and a whole lot more. Here we focus on expanding your capacity for money, success, abundance, and inner wealth so that you can have what's important to you inside and out and you can be your wealthy self. This show is about honoring your wholeness, that you are enough just as you are to have what's most important to you. What's important to you might be the freedom to have more success and money without guilt or shame. Or maybe it's the ease of being unapologetically you and having more certainty in your sense of purpose or feeling daily joy and fulfillment within yourself. But whatever it is, whatever is most important to you, whatever makes you feel like you are both wealthy inside and out is what we're here to help support you in. Because in this show, we really stand in, you can create whatever it is that is important to you, and you can do it without struggle. You can actually do it with ease and certainty and joy and have more fun. And we do all of this inquiry through the lens of money. If people ask you, why money? Well, I'll tell you, because money is a spiritual highlighter. It reveals how much you engage with the world, how much you allow yourself to have, and how easily you will allow yourself to have what you actually want. Because it highlights how much struggle we subconsciously believe we need to experience in order to deserve the money, abundance, and success that we want. Isn't that interesting? There's some part of us that believes there's a certain amount of struggle that we need to have before we can have our abundance or our money or our success. And today, we're going to dig into the hidden messages behind boredom, procrastination, lethargy, disinterest, or however you may refer to it. But you know that feeling when you just don't feel like doing something that you know you need to do, something that actually would further your business or yourself farther down the road to more of what you want? Or maybe even you've been excited at one point about writing that book or starting that side business, and now you're just not. Well, I want to tackle this today because when these types of emotional and energetic states take over our bodies, our minds, and our abilities to take action, then it really impedes us in having what's most important to us. And it causes unnecessary struggle, stress, and pain in our lives. And this is why Your Wealthy Self show is about you having more of what you want with ease, without that struggle, and to have it with more joy. So this is going to be a good topic for us to dig into today. And you're going to want to watch until the end because I'm going to be taking you through a process that will help decrease your experience of procrastination, lethargy, and boredom. So let me start by stating something that is not necessarily a popular notion or belief is that boredom, lethargy, procrastination are all smoke screens. They're just another flavor of being in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn in your nervous system. This is the part of your brain is doing is doing this to keep you safe. Yep. Most people see procrastination and lethargy and boredom as a character flaw, but really it's your system going on freeze or shutdown mode to keep you safe. So stick with me as I in the show, and I'll show you what I mean. So does this ever happen to you? You see the possibility of something great, that's this opportunity, and then you want to take that path forward. You're like, oh yeah, sure, I'm going to submit my name for that. I'm going to put a proposal in. I'm going to try out for that job, whatever it is. And then somewhere in your, we call it your reptilian brain, in that neurology, there's a pattern that gets triggered. And you begin to feel boredom, disinterest, or lack of inspiration about taking this task on or doing these actions. All of these are road bumps that get triggered when you get excited about something. And here's why. The neurology is here to keep you safe. That kind of freeze mode, or that fawn, which is prioritizing other needs over yours, like being a people pleaser and trying not to be too successful or to be different by being too happy. And here's how it happens. So childhood wounds get turned into a pattern for safety. It's a safety pattern that says, don't be too displeasing or too brightly self-expressed, too much of yourself, because it upsets somebody in the household, someone may get angry, you become a target, it's not safe. So your system starts to go into alert mode, like, oh, you need to shut that down. Because there may have been a time when, whether you remember this or not, who knows, when you were younger, where you were like wildly expressing yourself as children do, like you were super happy about something or playful or whatever it was. And somebody else was not that happy. And they said something, did something that scared you, upset you, or basically showed you that it's not safe or it's not okay to be that happy. It's not okay to be so self-expressed. It's not okay to express yourself how you express yourself, whatever it may be. And your younger self decided it's not safe to be me, or it's not safe to get this much attention, because you're trying not to be too displeasing or to yourself. So your brain, this part of your brain called your reptilian brain, the back of your skull, top of your spine, its only function is to keep you safe. So when something like that happens, it's pretty traumatic to a little person whose whole sense of safety and survival is reliant on those who are raising them. So the brain will go, oh, quick learn. Our system gets threat when we do that. So let's not do that. And it starts to shut it down. And this translates into adulthood when we don't allow ourselves to be too successful or to make too much money or to be too happy or too healthy or have too much of a good thing, like in relationships. Because the intended positive outcome of this strategy is to keep you safe. So you can survive this and you can survive it again and again. It's a sure thing, because this part of your brain, this reptilian brain, knows that you survived that in childhood, like survived the yelling, maybe it was physical abuse, the torment emotionally. You survived it enough that part of your brain goes, oh yeah, we can survive this. So when you feel those same kind of panics or freezing or fawning, when your opportunities have dissipated, your bank account has gone to zero, or you're struggling around something, this part of your brain knows you can survive it because it's the same feelings that you had in childhood, or they're very similar. And this boredom and lethargy and procrastination is your brain's adult way in your adult body to shut that down. Some of us still have freeze or the fawning, but also it can be boredom, because boredom is another way or disinterest of preventing us from taking action. Because this part of your brain knows you can survive being at this, how would I say it? Being at this lower level of expression. And it's not sure, this brain is not sure that you can survive a bigger, more expressed self. Now, we consciously know that. Our cerebral cortex brain knows that, but our reptilian brain does not, because it doesn't have a lot of experience in that, because it got shut down, it got terrified, scared, or wounded in some way back when. So this positive intention is behind this strategy. And its methods, again, can be hard on us emotionally, physically, and mentally, because these strategies of shutting us down and keeping us from being too expressed so we didn't become a target, from being too much ourselves or too happy or too successful or too joyful to keep us safe from being a target, we're supposed to be temporary, not long-term ones that turn into decades and decades of experience of us, putting others first to our own detriment, or freezing up, or being procrastinators, or lethargy, or boredom, all that stuff. These strategies were put there to keep you safe a long, long time ago. So I say that because boredom, procrastination, and disinterest get a really bad rap. They are seen as the enemy, and the usual solution for people is to bust through it, to use your willpower, and to fight to get over it. And then people get praised in our society on, I willpowered through it, I made it. All this very like adrenaline-based energy. And it's not that that's wrong, because it's not. It's there for a reason. But to do that every day for weeks upon months, upon years, upon decades, really wears out our systems. So I'm not really a fan of that. And plus, you are battling yourself. And when you're battling yourself, where there's part of you that says, oh, no, I can't do that. And the other part goes, no, we have to do it. Who actually wins when you overpower one part of yourself instead of getting both of those sides of you on the same team going in the same direction? So again, I'm not a fan of this. I see these energetic states as both very valuable information for what's happening in your body. And there's a pattern that's not useful that's running interference. And it's for a good reason. So I see them as valuable information that we can work with to get them both on the same team and have the other one stop running interference and actually be more of a support. So let me tell you more. The rub is when these when these patterns are put in place to help a very young version of us to get through something that we didn't have the capacities to understand. And then, as I said, we forget that it's supposed to be temporary. So we keep it going. So it then becomes part of who we are, how we operate in the world. It's part of our nervous system on high alert always. And as we know, this isn't good for our bodies to be on high alert ongoingly without rest or time to reset. And many times that alarm bell doesn't look like anxiety or doesn't look like overwhelm or fear. It can be more energetically subtle, where you just don't feel like doing something, like a pile of paperwork or planning those veggie starts or cleaning out that closet or posting on social media to let you know that you have services to offer. This is something you can move through. This is something that can actually be revised. That's the great news. Personally, I love NLP, neuro linguistics programming, and I do that with my clients and for myself because these re-imprints actually rewire the outdated pattern. They shift it so that I can be excited and take action on that inspiration. And I don't get derailed or distracted like a shiny object. Now, I can't do NLP in this episode, obviously, but I can offer a way to get curious about it, about what's going on, to inquire into it so that you can have more space around it. And sometimes that's all you need because that is enough. Sometimes that can be enough of a state shift that you can get your inspiration back. So here's a tool I'm going to offer you. So wait, before that, I do that because that's actually what we're really looking for when we're starting to do something and we've gotten so far and we're like, I don't know, I'm not bored, I'm not disinterested, whatever it is. That is when your body's looking for a state change because you were going along and then all of a sudden the energy shuts down, right? And that energy is shutting down because you're bumping up against something that says it's not safe to proceed. It's not safe. Abort mission. And then you get up like, oh, I think I'll have a piece of chocolate. I'll call a friend. I'll go walk the dog. Oh, what's on TV? Like what's in the news? I'm going to read my phone. You start doing this because you're trying to get a state shift away from that shutting down of the systems because it feels like it can be a lot of different ways, but when they're lowering of that energy, that lethargy, that boredom is coming in, that procrastination, there's not the vitality, right? The joy. So it's shutting it down, which is like making us smaller, and it's trying to keep us safe. So my point of that was finding other ways to do state changes besides going to the fridge or going to Netflix or scrolling on Instagram. So one way is, and you can come back and take notes on this or watch this episode again to go through these questions. But what you want to do first is you want to acknowledge this feeling is here. Because when we resist it, it just keeps it in place. Like, oh, I'm going to do a state change. I'm going to go make a sandwich. And it's only 10:30. I'm going to, go get the mail. I'm going to check my email one more time. Like all of that is us trying to break free from this feeling that doesn't feel good. So we're trying to ignore it, repress it, or resist it. So instead of that, just acknowledge that tear. Go, oh God, I really don't feel like doing this right now. I just don't feel like doing this. Okay. So what are the sensations that go on with that feeling? Oh, there's a tightness in my chest, tightness in my stomach, shallow breathing. I feel really tired. I want to take a nap. And or maybe I feel irritable, right? So go through those. What are you feeling in your body? And then once you've gone through that, where in your body do you feel those feelings? Like I was saying, chest, stomach, my head. Right now it's between my ears, right back here on my jaw. So it's important to acknowledge where it is and be specific versus, oh, I just feel this thing. Because it starts to put our attention on it, which acknowledges it in a way that can let some of it dissipate. And then it becomes like something that you're looking at that you're examining, like, oh, it's a blue rectangle. It's slightly metallic. It has words written here, and there's a pink spot back here. And it turns. Okay. And it's here in my hand. You start to get more objective about it. And because this emotion, this feeling, the sensation that's coming up that we call procrastination, boredom, lethargy, actually is wisdom. It's wisdom from your body. And your body is saying, I'm trying to send you a message. So by checking it out at each of these levels, start to get that message to come in and gets clear. So after you check, where do you feel it in your body? It's great to ask, well, what color is it? If you were to give it a color, what color would it be? And it can be any color. There's no right, there's no wrong. But again, it's about engaging with this instead of repressing, denying, or resisting it. So once you pick the color, I think of that old Steve Martin joke of when he was asked, do you want a red wine or white wine? He's like, oh, it comes in color. I choose plaid. So it doesn't matter. It could be plaid. It could be corduroy. So how much water, the next question is, how much water does the sensation hold? Like, is it half a cup? Sorry. A lot of energy moving. Does it hold 2 cups, 5 gallons? How much water does the sensation hold? Like, what's its intensity? And then what would you name the sensation? And again, these are specific words on purpose. I use the word sensation versus fear or procrastination. We're using the word sensation. You can give it that name now, but it's really a sensation that we get to decide what its name is and what its meaning is. And when you take that away and inquire into it in this kind of benign way, then there's less charge. It can just be this sensation. And then you're like, oh, actually, here's the name I would place on it. So whatever name it is, whether it's boredom, disinterest, procrastination, fear, I want you to ask, like if it's boredom, how so? Or it's fear, like how so? Because fear comes in a lot of different ways. Fear of survival, fear of failing, fear of annihilation, fear of lack. There's a lot of different ways that fear shows up. So boredom, how so? Procrastination. Procrastination is a feelings, which is what we talk about. So it's like lack of energy, or the experience is lifeless. Lifeless, how so? Like my arms, my legs don't want to move. I feel stuck. Okay, another example. So the next question is, if you were to push through this boredom, what does that thought do to your experience? You're just to push through it. If you can't get in touch with that experience, start to imagine pushing through it. What is the resistance that comes up from this place? Is it fear? Is it like, oh, I can't do that? Is it I don't have permission? Or, oh no, it's just too overwhelming? What is that experience? And whatever that flavor of that experience is, when you have it, ask yourself, and it's okay with whatever number pops into your head, because you don't want to overthink this. You don't want to try to find a memory of this. Just let a number show up. So here's the question. What age is the youngest version of you that first experienced this? In that flavor of what we were just talking about. What age was that? And if not in this context, don't try to remember it. Remember, it's just a number to pop into your head. And when you have that age, what was going on for that you at that age? What was happening in your home environment when you were 2 or 6 or 10 or 2 months old? And when you start to notice what was going on in your environment, does the noise get louder? Does the feeling get stronger? And then just take a moment and say, what is it wanting to tell me? What is this feeling wanting to tell me? what wisdom knowledge does it have to share with you? Whatever it shares, just thank it and ask if there's anything else it wants to share. And then take all of that information that it provides you. What did you learn, notice, or experience with this? Was it saying things to you that words that you heard as a child that was something your father said or your grandmother said to you often? Was there anything that happened that helped you get a better understanding of what is really going on under the surface of this procrastination? Like, is it a parent saying, you'll never succeed, you can't do that? Or a grandparent say, be careful, you do that, you're going to make the wrong decision and you're going to, embarrass us all, or whatever it is, right? You want to notice if that comes up and realizing what is actually your stuff and what is somebody else's. Because once you start to know where the source came from, it's so much easier to shift. And then feel free to write a journal about it, about your experience, because something else may reveal itself. And it's really good to get curious about these sensations in our bodies. If we just assume that they're the source of our struggle, then we will miss out on so much wisdom. We miss the information our body is trying to tell us, that this pattern, this old strategy is ready to come to the surface, be acknowledged, complete, and dissipated. So just asking yourself a few simple questions can get so much knowledge and insight into what's happening within you. And wouldn't it be helpful to know more about the subconscious patterns or the beliefs that are running instead of trying to battle them, ignore them, or suppress them? The ones that are causing you some of those challenges and struggles in life. So being curious is something I highly recommend. I actually enjoy it. So the more you are curious, ask yourself questions. The more you do this, the more your natural inner knowing and wisdom can come online more easily. It's an accumulative experience, meaning you're doing this helps you have that connection for the next time you do it. So I hope this was helpful in reframing how you experience feelings of disinterest, procrastination, or lethargy or boredom that come up around something you're wanting to do. Because it's not a bad thing. These are just not useful strategies anymore. So get curious, find out what's underneath it so that you can interrupt the pattern from continuing, give it its proper acknowledgement, and allow it to discreate. Because there are better ways to have what you want than to struggle through emotional states or try to overcome ourselves with willpower, right? These just pit us against ourselves, and it has us turn against ourselves for not doing it better or doing it faster or doing it sooner. So instead, start working with your body and energetic systems to be able to have more of what you want with less effort, less struggle, and less pain. So there are hidden messages in boredom and procrastination. Just get curious about what your body is trying to tell you, and you might be surprisingly inspired by what you discover. So if you get something from today's show, please share it. There's enough fear in the world. Let's create more joy. Let me know what questions you have or topics you'd like to tackle so I can provide more support by emailing my team at yourwealthyself@E360 TV Live. Let me pull that up. There you go. Yeah. Because I'd love to hear from you. And you can also find my trainings and in-depth perspectives at reginamartinelli.com. So make sure you tune in next week as we continue to use money as a lens to revise the old beliefs holding you back from having more clarity, more freedom, prosperity, self-worth, appreciation, and daily joy. And anything that's important to you, because you can have it with ease and you can have it with more fun. So I love and adore you. You are an incredibly beautiful and precious being. And please know you are enough just as you are in this moment to have what you want in this life.